Good morning, everybody. I'll make no apologies for the fact that this article is obviously a little bit old, if you like, because we know now that Kathleen Zellner has appealed to the Supreme Court, and we just wait on them to procrastinate if they're anything like the Circuit Court and the Court of Appeals. But it was interesting, the article, some of the things that the legal expert had commented on. So as I say, this is a headline from the Post Crescent a couple of months back. We know, obviously, Stephen Avery lost his latest attempt at an appeal. Here's what could happen next. So Stephen Avery may not have been successful in his latest attempt to fight his conviction for the murder of Teresa Halbach, but his case could still be far from over. Steve, now 59, has been serving a life sentence since he was convicted of killing Teresa, 25-year-old photographer who disappeared in 2005. His story, of course, and Brendan's, was featured in the Netflix docu-series Making a Murderer, which cast, I would say, huge doubt, on the motives of police investigating Teresa's death, and left many millions of viewers with the impression, the very strong impression, and assuredness that Steve and Brendan were wrongfully convicted. And nothing's happened since Making a Murderer first came out to ever cause us to doubt that. In fact, if anything, our beliefs have only been strengthened. In late July, the Wisconsin Court of Appeals rejected several arguments Steve has made over the years, including the effectiveness of his attorneys at trial and the way some of the evidence was handled by prosecutors. A claim Steve and his attorney, Kathleen Zellner, raised in April involving a new witness was not evaluated by the appeals court, which explained in its decision that it had already reviewed Steve's other arguments and that the issue involving the witness, quote, bears little or no relation to those claims already before us. So it's all part of the same thing, but that's how they want to deal with it. This is instead a distinct issue that the Circuit Court should resolve on a standalone basis. The court's decision says. The new witness, a delivery driver named Thomas Sawinski, claims to have seen a shirtless Bobby Dassey. Was that so that he could operate the steering wheel and push the car without getting his handprints or DNA on it? Was that why he was without his shirt? Was his shirt simply being used as a piece of material to stop any transfer of fingerprints or DNA? And an unidentified older male. I've seen one or two people suggest that this is Chuck Avery. I can't understand how Thomas Sawinski, if he knows who Bobby Dassey is, I'm pretty sure he's going to know who one of the main, the main guy on the salvage yard. The salvage yard says Chuck and Earl, doesn't it? I can't imagine that Thomas Sawinski would recognize Bobby Dassey, but not Chuck. I don't see it. The description doesn't really match. Chuck's not a very tall fella at all, and this guy was supposed to be nearly 6 foot tall. So I don't know. It's obviously, but again, let us know if you think differently. Anyway, an unidentified older male who, for some bizarre reason, one or two people think was Chuck, pushing the Toyota down Avery Road towards the junkyard in the early morning hours of November the 5th, according to court documents filed by Kathleen. Teresa's vehicle, a RAV4, was found later that day at the salvage yard. Now, Sawinski said he realized the significance of what he had seen after hearing what type of car Teresa was driving and where it was found. He immediately reached out to the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office, but said a female officer told him, "We already know who did it, the court documents say." So just go away. Now, interesting. Michael O'Hare, a law professor at Marquette University, said it will be up to Steve to raise the new witness issue in circuit court. A judge will then have to decide whether it warrants a new hearing. If there is an evidentiary hearing on this issue, it could possibly take a long time for that to play out, said O'Hare, who pointed out the pandemic-related delays faced by many courts in Wisconsin. The decision to hold a hearing on the claims involving a new witness will be in the hands of a circuit court judge, but it's clear Steve faces an uphill battle in his effort to fight his conviction, O'Hare said. The legal standard for getting a new trial is extremely hard to satisfy, and it's quite unusual for a defendant to get a conviction overturned at this point, he said. There is at least one other option. Ask the Wisconsin Supreme Court to review the recent decision released by the appeals court. The state Supreme Court would not have to look at Steve's case, though, and the likelihood of a review seems low considering the unanimous decision made by the appeals court, O'Hare said. He added, "It's difficult to anticipate what might happen next in Steve's case, given the length of time it has already gone on." This was the interesting bit. The defense team has generated a lot more new issues than I would have thought possible a few years ago, O'Hare said. I wouldn't want to predict that we're nearing the end now. Well, that was very interesting. People involved in the legal system saying they're surprised at what Kathleen Zellner has been able to develop. That's what I'm reading that as. The defense team has generated a lot of more new issues than I would have thought possible. Anyway, I think we'll keep it short and sweet this morning. Got to crack on, things to do, people to see. So I'm going to say cheerio, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.